The legacy of colonial borders. The lines that divide nations on a map often seem fixed and natural, but many of these borders were imposed, not born from the people they separate. Colonial powers, seeking to expand their empires, drew borders with little regard for the complex realities of the lands they controlled. These borders have left a lasting legacy, one that continues to shape conflicts, identities, and politics around the world today. In this presentation, we will explore the origins of colonial borders, their impact on newly independent states, the challenges they have created in modern times, and what the future might hold. Understanding this legacy is key to understanding many of the ongoing struggles faced by countries around the globe. Origins of colonial borders. To grasp the legacy of colonial borders, we must first look back at their origins. During the 19th century, European powers engaged in what is often called the scramble for Africa. This period was marked by intense competition among Britain, France, Germany, Belgium, and others to claim territories rich in resources and strategic advantage. One of the defining moments was the Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885, where European powers met to divide Africa amongst themselves, without a single African representative present. They drew straight lines across maps, dividing the continent into colonies. These borders often ignored existing ethnic, cultural, and linguistic groups. For example, the border between Nigeria and Cameroon split the Yoruba people, while in the Congo, Belgian colonial rulers combined multiple ethnic groups under a single administration, fueling later tensions. In Asia, the British and French empires divided territories like India and Indochina, often using rivers, mountain ranges, or arbitrary lines to mark borders. In the Americas, while borders were often established earlier through treaties and wars, colonial powers' decisions also shaped the present-day boundaries of countries like Canada, the United States, and Latin American nations. The key characteristic of these colonial borders was that they were external impositions, created by foreign powers for their own interests rather than by the peoples who lived there. This foundational fact set the stage for many future problems. The impact on post-colonial states. When colonial rule ended in the mid-20th century, newly independent nations inherited these borders. While the colonial powers left, their territorial decisions remained. This inheritance brought significant challenges, ethnic and cultural divisions. Many countries were left with populations of different ethnic, religious, and linguistic groups forced together. For example, Nigeria contains over 250 ethnic groups. The borders combine groups with different histories, values, and sometimes mutual hostilities into a single political entity. Civil wars and internal conflicts. The artificial borders contributed to civil wars and ongoing conflicts. In Sudan, the division of the country's peoples and resources under colonial borders played a major role in its decades-long civil wars, eventually leading to the independence of South Sudan in 2011. Separatist movements. Groups that found themselves marginalized or oppressed within new borders sometimes sought independence or autonomy. The Biafra War in Nigeria in the late 1960s was one such example, as the Igbo people attempted to secede. Border disputes between countries. The unclear or contested colonial-era borders also sparked wars between states. The Eritrean-Ethiopian border conflict, lasting from 1998 to 2000, was rooted in colonial boundary issues. Similarly, India and Pakistan's ongoing dispute over Kashmir traces back to colonial decisions. Moreover, colonial borders often divided access to critical resources like water, minerals, and fertile land, exacerbating tensions. Modern-day challenges and responses. Today, countries continue to live with the legacy of colonial borders. Attempts to redraw borders. Some nations have tried to change borders to better reflect the identities of their people. South Sudan's independence is a recent example. However, redrawing borders can be risky and can lead to further conflict. Decentralization and autonomy. Some countries have responded by creating federal systems or autonomous regions to give ethnic groups more self-governance. Ethiopia's federal system, for instance, is based on ethnic regions, though it also faces challenges. International mediation and regional cooperation. Many conflicts over borders are managed through diplomacy, international courts, and regional bodies like the African Union. The principle of respecting colonial borders, known as uti possidetis juris, is often used to maintain stability, even when borders seem unfair. Identity and nation building. Despite colonial legacies, many nations have worked hard to build national identities that transcend ethnic divisions. Education, national symbols, and inclusive politics play a role in this ongoing process. Yet unresolved tensions over colonial borders persist in many regions, making peace and development more difficult. The legacy of colonial borders is a powerful reminder that history shapes our present and future. The lines drawn by colonial powers may have been arbitrary, but their effects are very real, fueling conflict, division, and struggles for identity. By understanding this complex history, we can better appreciate the challenges faced by post-colonial nations and support efforts toward peace, justice, and unity. Ultimately, moving beyond the legacy of colonial borders requires dialogue, compromise, and a commitment to building inclusive societies where diverse peoples can live together peacefully. Thank you for joining me in this exploration of the legacy of colonial borders, a legacy that continues to influence our world today.